Hello, Maddie's sister again. I was told that you were looking at adding and subtracting decimals, so I figured I'd try and do a couple examples, but let me know if there's something more specific you're looking at or if this is helpful. The first question we have three things added together, and maybe you're only dealing with two, I don't know. But we have 0.32 plus 12.965 plus 1.1. The first thing you want to do, if they might not give you a problem like this, but if it's written, it's called horizontally, when it's written like left to right, you want to stack these up vertically. So like if it's not given to you, you want to rewrite these on top of each other, and you want to line them up. Like the decimal point should line up. So like this 12.965, but make sure the decimal points line up. That's really important because then you might get kind of thrown off if you're not careful with that. One tip, if they don't have the same amount of decimals or numbers after the decimal point, you want to make sure they're the same length. So if you see how this spot has 3 numbers and the top only has 2, well, you're going to add a 0 after it to make sure these are the same length. And same idea for this bottom part. Here, I'm just going to get rid of those lines. In the bottom part, you're going to add 2 zeros, so these all have the same length after the decimal point. And then you're going to add, well, in this problem, it's addition, so we're going to add these all together. So we're going to kind of just start one part at a time. So we start on the right, 0 plus 5 plus 0 would be 5. Our next unit would be 2 plus 6 is 8. For our next spot, we're going to have 3 plus 9 is 12. Plus 1 would be 13. So you put a 3, carry over a 1. So then you bring down the decimal point. And then when you add this next column, you would have 1 plus 0 is 1. Plus 2 would be 3. Plus 1 would be 4. And then this 1 over here just comes down because there's nothing to add and nothing was borrowed over. Same idea if you're subtracting. Notice this problem, they already kind of have it vertically, but make sure those decimal points are lined up. They already are. Since this one has 2 decimal places, we want this one to have 2 decimal places, so we're going to add a 0 because that's not changing our value. Oops, I didn't mean to erase that. But once we're here, we're going to start subtracting. So 9 minus 0 would just be 9. 2 minus 8, well, you can't do that, so you have to borrow. So you borrow 1, and this 2 turns into a 12. 12 minus 8 would be 4. Bring down that decimal place. 4 minus 6, we can't do that. We got to borrow again. So that 4 would turn into a 14. 14 minus 6 would be 8. 3 minus 3 would be 0. And then 6 minus, well, there's nothing here, or you could really put a 0 there, would just be 6. It just comes down after the ride. And I also heard you might have to round to the nearest whole number. I would think about these in terms of money, if possible. If you had to round this answer to the nearest whole number, just kind of ignore this last decimal place, but that's $14.38. Are you closer to $14 or are you closer to $15? Well, you would be closer to $14. And same idea for this one. This is $608.49. Are you closer to $608 or are you closer to $609? Well, you'd be closer to $608. And that's how you round to a nearest whole number. If you're rounding to a certain decimal place, let me know. I can make a video helping with that if that's something you're having difficulty with. So I hope these videos weren't too bad. If it's helpful, I'm very glad. If it's not, feel free just to not watch them if they're not being helpful.